Are you having a hard time figuring out what to get Dad for Father's Day? Shop now at sportshistorynetwork.com/row1 and save 15% off your order when you check out Row 1 Brand's Vintage Sports Pictorium Gallery. They have America's best sports art. With over 7,200 historic sports prints, you're assured to find something unique for Dad this Father's Day. If he's an NFL buff, check out the 1963 vintage NFL helmet poster. Shop now at sportshistorynetwork.com/row1.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
Hello, sports fans, and welcome to another edition of Yesterday's Sports on the Sports History Network. For those still not convinced that the Dolphins' 17-0 record wasn't merely the result of a weak schedule, let's compare their performance to some other great teams that also had an easy schedule. Let's start by comparing the 72 Dolphins to the 1975 Minnesota Vikings. Some analysts feel this was the Vikings' best team ever. After 10 games, Minnesota's record was 10 wins and 0 losses. Some were beginning to compare them to the 72 Dolphins. Could this team go undefeated? It was starting to look like a good possibility. Let's look at the numbers. The combined record of the 72 Dolphins' first 10 opponents was 50 wins, 87 losses, and 3 ties. Granted, that is a weak schedule, but not nearly as soft as the 75 Viking schedule. The Vikings' first 10 opponents had a dismal combined record of 38 wins and 102 losses. Their last 5 opponents, including one playoff game, had a combined record of 37 wins and 33 losses. But the Vikings lost 3 of those final 5 games, including a first-round playoff game. The Dolphins, on the other hand, won all 5 of their last games against teams with a combined record, including playoffs, of 48 wins and 25 losses. You can see the point I'm trying to make. Once the 75 Vikings started playing good teams, they folded, where the 1972 Dolphins didn't. Just so Viking fans don't think I'm picking on their team, let's turn to the 1975 Los Angeles Rams. Fellow football historian Stephen Llewellyn provided these stats. The Rams finished the season with a 13-3 record, including postseason. But they faced only 5 teams with winning records. The Rams feasted on weak opponents by going 11-1 against teams with a combined 43 and 111 record. But they were only 3-2 against teams with winning records, including a humiliating 37-7 loss to the Cowboys in the NFC Championship. There's something else about that 1972 Miami team that doesn't get mentioned much. The team clinched the division title with a Week 10 win against the New York Jets. Let's face it, the Dolphins could have coasted the rest of the way, but they didn't. They kept playing hard, outscoring their last 4 opponents 107-44. And oh, by the way, what was their reward for finishing the regular season 14-0? They had to play the AFC Championship game on the road. Try as you might, you can't diminish the Dolphins' 17-0 record by saying the team had a weak schedule. I've given you just 2 examples of outstanding teams with an even easier schedule than the 72 Dolphins. Many others have had similarly weak schedules. None of them were able to do what the 1972 Miami team did. Still, there are those who will persist. Some will say the Dolphins' Super Bowl victory was tainted because their opponents, the Redskins, were without their starting quarterback, Sonny Jurgensen. But Miami also played most of the season without their starting quarterback, Bob Greasy. As I see it, it's a testament to how good both teams' backup quarterbacks were. Miami had Earl Morrall, and Washington had Billy Kilmer. If not for them, neither team would likely have made it to the Super Bowl. But still they persist. I've heard people say their Super Bowl win is tainted because they played the league's oldest team. Washington was tagged with the nickname the Over-the-Hill Gang. But the Redskins were an outstanding team. They had a 13-3 record going into that Super Bowl and had just soundly defeated the defending Super Bowl champion Dallas Cowboys in the NFC Championship game. They allowed a mere 6 points in the playoffs. Most knowledgeable fans would agree that the only team in the NFL that was better than those Redskins were the Dolphins. Some are going to argue that the 72 Dolphins are overrated no matter what. Everyone is entitled to their opinion. One thing can't be disputed. In the century-long existence of the NFL, the 1972 Miami Dolphins are the only team to have a perfect season.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
We here at the Sports History Network proudly partner with 26 podcasts, all revolving around the history of sports. But did you know that many of our hosts were sports history authors way before they started their shows? It's true. We've got Joe Ziemba, host of When Football Was Football, Joe Zagurski, host of Pro Football in the 1970s, Mark Morthier, host of Yesterday's Sports, Tommy Phillips, host of Lombardi Memories, and Scott Adamson, co-host of From the 55-Yard Line. All these authors have many books for you to choose from. To check them out, go to our website at sportshistorynetwork.com/sportshistorybooks. Pick up your copy today. Soundtrack provided by Kevin MacLeod of filmmusic.io.